I'm Carol Kelso, CNS Next, Thomasville Today, right here in the studio with Chief Wade Glover. Welcome.
Thank you for being. I'm glad to be here today.
We're glad to have you. And a very important Gregory Roberts.
Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Can't wait to hear about this program. Now, Chief Glover, let's start out with you. 31 years on the force.
Yes, ma'am.
Our community has grown, and the whole situation with the mental health, there's no longer a stigma associated with that as much, but now we need some help. The police department needs some help. So tell us how this program got started with Gregory.
Well, I think you summed it up that we have a lot of issues with dealing with persons with a mental illness. And again, that is not a stigma attached to that. We just have to deal with that. Right. And it's okay for us to deal with that. But law enforcement found themselves having to deal with it in a way that was not necessarily the best way to handle that. So our resource available was to go, respond, take some type of action, and that person usually wound up in some type of secure facility like jail. And that was not solving the issue. So then we came out and said, let's reevaluate this. Let's see what the situation is, because, you know, several years ago, we closed several mental institutions.
Right.
And so we got stuck. Law enforcement got stuck with having to deal with it. And so that was the only way we could deal with it. So then we reached out to our resources, Georgia Pines and places like that, people that deal with this, and say, what can we do to help with this? And so they created a co-responder program. Started up in Athens, Georgia. And so essentially, we have certified, licensed clinicians that come on scene with officers, wow, and they're able to communicate effectively, who are trained to do that with persons in crisis, and then we can get them the necessary help they need to really get the help they really need.
Now, Chief, how long has this program been in operation with Thomasville Police Department?
Well, it happened about 3 months ago.
I thought it was pretty recent.
So it's very, very recent.
Okay.
But it's going to other areas like Atlanta area, Gainesville, Athens, and places like that. So it's just now getting down here. And so we finally got state funding, thanks to Georgia Pines and R.J. Hearn and his team. They have really helped us with that, because in a sense, we're helping one another.
Absolutely.
And so having that certified and, you know, a clinician that is trained and they can do those things and can communicate with these people and say, listen, this is where you need to go. You don't need to go down to jail. You need to go to this particular facility. Wow. And it's just helped so much. It's so.
I can imagine your whole department has probably been transformed a little bit.
Absolutely, because we're limited to what we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go out and we can use force on people and get them to comply and things like that. But that's not what we're trained at. That's not what we want to do.
No.
We want people to get the right help at the right location, so they can get and do the things that they need to do. So
super. What a great program, Gregory. So glad you could be here and try to unpack all this for us. Put it in more layman terms. You're an associate therapist with Georgia Pines, and you've been hired, 3 months ago?
I started my work with Georgia Pines at the end of last year, but this new program that's funded through the Bureau of Justice Administration, what they do is they basically say law enforcement has two options. It's either to let someone go, or they can make the call to put somebody in incarceration. There is a third option for those who might be experiencing some sort of mental health crisis, and that is the co-responder program. So
that's the official title, the co-responder program, yes, and that's where you come in, all right?
Absolutely. So essentially the way it works is if the officers come into contact with someone who they think is experiencing a mental health crisis, they secure the scene, because I love a safe scene.
We all do. Right. Very good.
And then I get a call from the dispatch, and I get to go out and evaluate and see if that person does indeed need some other services. It's a diversion program of sorts to move people to a different option where if they are experiencing some sort of mental health crisis, that they can get the help that they need, as opposed to sitting in jail and perhaps deteriorating more. And
then going out and doing it all over again.
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
So you will be the official co-responder. So when something happens, they get to a situation, we need to call Gregory. And
Absolutely.
Then, great.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've had several calls. We came up and live actually at the beginning of April, even though this has been in the works for a while.
Right.
And we've had several calls. Of course, can't say enough about the fine folks at TPD who continue to do good work and think of me when they don't have to.
Well, I know they're glad to have you along for the ride now. Literally more ways than one.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. This is an excellent conjunction that we've joined together with the Georgia Pines and the TPD. Have we got everything covered?
I think so.
Okay, and they keep you safe, and you keep them safe,
Absolutely.
and we keep the public safe.
Absolutely.
What a great community effort. We're so grateful for both of your departments and individually for both of you guys to be here and just set the record straight for all of us. We're excited about what's going to be able to take place for the law enforcement and freeing them up, and excited to have Gregory in town and be part of the police force as a co-responder. So thanks so much for watching. We never know where we're going to be or what we will be doing, but we do know it will be good.